Welcome to Yoga for You, a channel tailored to helping you discover your very own unique yoga practice. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Sagacity Spotlight. Today's guest is my soul sister, Cherrie. She's a professional massage therapist. She's going to talk about how a yoga practice helped her discover that, the importance of discovering your own yoga practice, tips and tricks on how you could also do that. But most importantly, she's going to discuss with us today a brand new thing she's unleashing to the world, and that is her wellness travel. Packages and opportunities to go explore and experience things all over the world. So hope you enjoy this one. Get your calendar and your globe out and see if any of these dates line up, because they're going to be pretty epic trips. I have the extraordinary opportunity of traveling with her for some upcoming trips. More on that to come. But hope you enjoyed this talk. Please give her a like, subscribe, and comment anything below that you feel the urge to share. Appreciate you being here. Namaste. Hello, lovely souls. Welcome to another episode of the Sagacity Spotlight. My name's Ty, and I'm joined with my amazingly beautiful, talented friend, Cherrie, and she has some great stories to tell us today. Welcome, Cherrie. How are you today?
Hi, Ty. Thank you so much. All is well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great when I have the opportunity to sit down and chat with you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for this opportunity to come and just, let people know who I am and what I do and where I am in the process of everything right now. So
Yeah,
thank you.
you're so welcome. I know the last conversation we had was in the incredible Tree in Sedona,
Yeah.
Arizona. And what a magical conversation that was.
Right. What a magical place too. I mean, oh my gosh, it's hard to actually leave Sedona. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our last conversation there. It was great.
Yes, it always just seems like we're kind of floating on the ethers when we start to talk, because it's everything we have to talk about is purely from our heart space. I can say that exclusively with you. I mean, I never feel like, I gotta get off the phone. It's always like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 hours. What?
Right. Yeah, our conversations are just, endless. And that's what I love about us. We cross paths and it's just been an amazing friendship. And I'm so grateful to be in your space. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I love connecting with people that enjoy uh, and align with what I do, and just creating a big Rolodex of people and with friendships, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, and you do it so well. You stay observant, right? First and foremost, you stay observant to the signs and the symbols that the universe provides, but the opportunities too. Little backstory. Years ago, when I first moved to California, I had these stickers made, and I would go around and put these stickers in, coffee shops or on road signs or turnouts, whatever, mobile, like roadside phones, like whatever. It was like Instagram link and website link. Well, Cherrie found one of my stickers. How did that story go? Did you see one inside and then you saw one outside or something like that?
So actually, okay, so the whole story is I went to the coffee shop initially. This is a local coffee shop I usually go to every morning. And I was in the process of planning to do a yoga series. And I was like, I want a filmmaker that is very connected in the yoga space. They know yogic philosophy, and if you think about it, that's kind of hard to find. Like, it's a needle in a haystack, right? But one of the things that I pride myself in is I put my trust in, God's spirit to do whatever it is and put me on the path to really providing the resources that I need to, enhance all our gifts. And so one of the things I did was I wasn't even expecting it. I just put it out there in the universe and said, send me someone. And it was interesting. It was about a month later. I was just like, I'm parking my car and I look at this sticker. I can't, I'm trying to remember what did it have on it, but it said Ty Dobbs, right? And so it took me almost maybe like 2 or 3 days because I was going to this coffee shop consistently. And so then I saw you again on the billboard at the same coffee shop. And I saw that you were a photographer as well. And I immediately went to your IG, checked it out, and I said, I have got to contact this guy. So that's how it all started. And from there, it's just been such a fun ride with you, such a fun journey, you know?
It really has.
But definitely, you know, working from a place of trust and knowing that, you know, the resources that we need will be eventually provided to us in some kind of form and fashion. You just have to be open, ready, and aligned for it, right? And so that's what really happened. So
And that's like the most beautiful, divine way a friendship could start. So like,
yeah,
I just felt like it had to be mentioned on the start of this call. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
And
excited.
now you're my star brother. I love it, you
Yes,
know?
yes, I feel it too.
Yeah.
And you're here to talk about so many great things you've been working on, and it's time for the world to hear it. What do you think? Is it time?
Yeah, I think it is time.
I think so.
Actually, I know it's time.
I love it.
So, yeah, yeah.
So we'll start with your background a little bit. Give
Mhm.
people that credibility statement. Who are you? You came from Atlanta to California. You're here now in more ways than one. You're an incredibly talented and successful massage therapist despite the recent challenges of life.
Mhm.
Tell me, let's start there. Tell me, fill in the gaps. Anything, what brought you to California?
Yeah, so I am a Georgia peach. I was born and raised, so I'm a Southern girl. And I actually grew up on the outskirts of Atlanta. It's actually about 2 hours, so away from Atlanta, Augusta, Georgia, that area. And so I moved to Atlanta and started in, I think it was 2009 is when I started teaching yoga in Atlanta. Um, One of the things I did was I was self-taught in yoga in undergrad. And then from undergrad, I started attending some of the yoga studios just to, you know, get a feel and commune with a like mind. So I went into the class and the instructor at the time, she said, you should start teaching, consider going to teach. And I was like, I don't really want to teach. Yoga is for me. I really don't want to teach. Like, this is my thing. I was kind of being a little, you know, selfish about it. But in hindsight, I went through the training and it was just, I knew that it was a space that I knew I was supposed to be in. And so I got that trade and went to training for that. And then in the process, I started thinking of ways to enhance my yoga classes for my students. So in essence, massage therapy was one of the things that I added. I wanted to be a more effective yoga instructor. So massage therapy was the next best thing, where I learned about the anatomy and how it aligns with the mind, body, and spirit. And so that's what I did. I went through massage school and came out with my massage certification as well. So fast forward, I was moved to um, to California, where I actually started teaching a little bit of corporate yoga here in the SoCal area. So a little bit of corporate yoga. I was doing a couple of private clients there and doing massage at the same time. And so that's where his led me now. I started Catreese and Company Wellness, which is my massage and yoga company that started in 2010. It transferred with me from Atlanta to here to California. And so did that for the past 5 years. I've been in California for 5 years. So now, you know, with 2020, everything had a lot of reflection time, of course. And one of the things I have always wanted to do was create these spaces and travel for wellness, right? A lot of times, I have a quick story. I climbed Kilimanjaro in 2019. Came down after 7 days, very transformational period in my life, and just wanted a massage. Couldn't really find anywhere to get a massage after climbing this huge mountain, right? And so that was one of the things that sparked my interest as well, is combining the two, of wellness and climbing a mountain, and actually having those spaces for after a climb, like being very supportive, offering massage, offering those types of services once a person came down from climbing. So that kind of sparked my interest in wellness travel. And so in 2020, I launched, during everything, I launched an extension of Catreese and Company, which is my wellness travel agency. So now I'm a travel advisor. And I'm a travel advisor specializing in wellness travel. So yeah.
That is so beautiful. And if there's not a more perfect thing to be a part of in this era,
Mm-hmm.
you take the explosive perception busting experiences of travel and you combine it with the nourishing nature of wellness benefits like massage and meditation and yoga, and you have an almost irresistible opportunity staring you in the face.
Exactly. It's one of the things I've learned over my wellness practitioner journey is I know I'm a healer. That's one of the things I love. And I enjoy most of providing those spaces for transformational, a transformational journey. And so for the past 13 years now, going on 14 years, it's been just this being in a space of providing a safe and healing space for people to let go of expectations and competition, letting go of judgments. That's what we need more in this world. And I think, especially with everything that has happened in the past year, it's more needed now than ever. And people are hungry for it, and people are needing, they're wanting to now come out and travel, but also provide a space where they're able to actually step away out of their day to day and really focus in on self-care and self-love, and rediscovery of who they really are, and truly align with what it is that they're wanting in life and that they desire, right? One of the things that is really big right now in this space is finding your spark, right? And that is, and a lot of us in society, we've forgotten what our spark is. And that's what my spark is, providing those spaces and facilitating those spaces for people who are looking for something, a small shift even in their way of living. So yeah.
And it's so beautiful that that is exactly what you're facilitating and what you're promoting, because so many people know, you either know your spark, or you have some inkling that maybe you haven't. And that inkling should not scare you.
Right.
It also should be understood that the spark can shift in time. And maybe once you were a devout yoga teacher, and after 20 years, you're not feeling it anymore. That doesn't mean, back to the drawing board. All that I'm going to speak candidly on this a little bit, because I know I'm young in life experience in this go around, but I have observed a lot of beautiful, older, wiser people. And a lot of what we feel our spark is, or let me take a step back. A lot of our childhood experiences are showing us our spark.
Right.
And
Exactly.
society does its thing that it does, it compresses that, it compartmentalizes that. It says you can't be successful at that. Doesn't matter if it's music, or if it's being an actress or an actor. There's always naysayers. I like to have this belief that naysayers are the people who gave up on their dream and they couldn't stand to witness somebody actually succeed. So naysayers should actually propel you forward, not compress you, although that's a whole nother topic for another discussion. How would you say you have been able to help people find their spark, their piece of joy?
Yeah, and this gives me chills because this is what I love. And this is my AO. I love to see people come into a yoga class for the very first time. They've heard about yoga, they've seen it in magazines, that sort of thing. And, you know, they come to the class, they have the class for the first time, they're a little afraid, but then they get with the flow, right? They come back time and time again. And then you start to see, as an instructor, you start to see that transformation happen. And it's like, it's almost like confirmation that you're, Cherry, in the right space because you provide this for people, you know? And so one of the things that I teach in my classes, my yoga classes, and even during massage sessions they're about turning down the noise, right? So before we start any yoga class I've ever taught, I start with tapping in, tuning out, as we always hear about, right? So in doing so, being able to start to kind of, when they're coming in and they're setting up their mat, really bringing them to a place of letting go, right? And that can be really scary for someone in their very first yoga class or their very first massage session. And so that is so important to me, to really take that time to start to slow down and turn down the noise. So we do breath work before we begin. We do breath work. We start with our intention, right? A lot of times we wake up every day, the same routine, and we really don't know. By the time we get our schedule down, right, we are in a place where we're just on autopilot. So really, that part of that tapping out and tuning in is getting in touch with your body, right? Slowing down, learning how to properly breathe, right? Before we start even getting into the asana yoga practice, right? Because that's a lot of times people think, you know, when I get in a yoga class, I'm going to walk out knowing how to do a headstand. Well, there's a process to that, right? I didn't learn how to do a headstand until years into my yoga practice, right? Because it's so important to tune into the body before we begin that practice. So that's one of the things across the board with Catreese & Co. Wellness, even with wellness travel, is for me, making sure that people are aligned and start to tune back into inward, right? Because everything that we are right now is on the outskirts, and we're so out there that we don't have time to be with ourselves inside and really align with our mind and body and inner spirit and breath and just the simple things in life that are free. Like breathing is free, right? So why not learn how to properly breathe, right? That's the first easy thing that I teach my beginner class yogis, is learning how to breathe is important, right? So those are the little things that that is my philosophy in how to be able to realign with who you are and finding your spark. First, you have to be more in tune with you, right? So the breath work and the meditation part of it, and then going into being more aligned with your body and spirit through asana, right? So that's how I do it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's not as intimidating, right, for someone to come into class and say, oh, well, I'm breathing just for today, and that's enough. And I think we need more spaces like that and actually that's what we are as wellness practitioners. We provide those spaces for people to feel safe, to want to tune into their bodies. Because a lot of times as well, a lot of us don't want to, you know, we have some things in our past that we have to face in order to move forward, right? So that's what I do, and that's how I guide people on those journeys.
It sounds like you have it figured out, at least to the extent of what you can have something like that figured out. You've got
Right.
some understanding, you've got some practical experience,
Yeah.
and you've got the know-how. You've got the travel experience too. You've traveled all around the globe,
Mhm.
and many times by yourself. Is that correct?
I have. I go solo. One of the trips that I took was as a massage therapist in residence and a yoga instructor in residence in Italy. in Tuscany. I was there for a month. Um, yeah,
Wow. What a
another
gift.
transformational trip. I so happened a friend by a friend knew a yoga instructor. Actually, now she's a loving kindness meditation teacher. Her name is Jane Reeves. Great soul, beautiful soul. She's been hosting Tuscany retreats for a number of years. And so I was invited to be the massage therapist in residence for her retreats. And in the process, also taught yoga there while I was there with some of the participants in the retreats there. So I had that opportunity as well. So it was an amazing journey, but I definitely got to see a lot of the logistics in how travel, wellness travel is done. And I said, I can do this. I can do this. And so that's really what catapulted a lot of what is happening now with Catreese and Company. Our newest part of wellness travel is the Newell experience. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
so what challenge have you faced any like significant challenges traveling around the world by yourself? I mean, a lot of women out there really get nervous about the idea of walking through downtown by themselves, let alone hopping on a plane for 10, 12 hours, ending up in another country where many people don't speak your language. Have
Mhm.
you faced fears and challenges in those very vulnerable situations?
Honestly, no, I haven't. I've been to Zanzibar, Tanzania, which is actually Zanzibar is now part of Tanzania, but and just making sure that I'm very aware of my surroundings and using discernment, right? And being smart about maybe not hanging out past a certain time at night, right? Making sure if I have friends in other countries, which I do, I hang out with them most of the time. And so but I have really, get that question a lot, and I have never had any challenges with anything. I am well prepared,
Mhm.
right? I know what, um, I kind of immerse myself in the culture and learning the languages a little bit before I go. So I feel more comfortable with that. So there are certain things that I just do, and I prepare very well for those trips. But sometimes I just love traveling solo. It gives me time to reflect on what's going on in my life at that moment in time, and so yeah, I enjoy it. But of course, sometimes I do. I take trips as well with friends. So, but yeah.
I think it's important. And I asked that question with the hopes that the answer would be something similar to that, because there's so much benefits to getting out there,
Mhm.
on the other side of the world, or anywhere, but somewhere where they don't speak your native tongue, and experiencing how similar life is. And that the thought of that can be scary to some people, but I am a very avid practitioner for travel as well, as you know. And so I I try to break down the barrier of fear that people may have also. And through doing that, it is just what you said: trust, discernment, and observation.
Mhm. Yeah, it's I know I have this thing of sometimes you just gotta what is it? Feel the fear and do it anyway, because
Yes.
it is, especially as a solo travel as a woman, right? And then in some cases, let's be honest, sometimes as a Black woman in these spaces, you're just like, you're kind of feeling like, I'm not, I don't feel comfortable. But sometimes it's just because we're out of our comfort zone.
Totally.
And once I think it's so interesting because the spaces I've been in, the countries I've been to, um, when people see that you're taking an effort and immersing yourself into the culture, of course with your own discernment, but immersing yourself into that culture, they're willing to help you. You ask for directions in Italian, go do salsa in the courtyard in Tuscany.
Yes.
When they start to see those things, there's not only a transformation that's happening within yourself, but within them too. And they learn, oh, well, this person needs help with getting to the next train station. Let me tell them how to do that. They're trying to make an effort, you know. So
Mhm.
those things really play off of each other a lot of times when I'm in another country. They love to see that. And that's one of the things as well that, you know, is a part of the transformational travel journey, right? And those are the memories, the impact that will leave you coming back and feeling more reinvigorated to now take on the world a little bit better than how you left, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. So you've been traveling. You've been traveling through the midst of the chaos we've been all experiencing to safe degrees, right?
Right.
Where so let's go back to your beautiful announcement, right? May 22nd is the date, I believe.
May 22nd is our official launch date, and it's the Newell Experience is still part of Catreese and Company right now. So the Newell Experience is the travel portion of our company, and we're launching May 22nd. And so we're definitely we're working on diligently putting up trips, programs, everything that you need to know about the Newell experience and what we're doing in the space, what we're offering. You know, we have a form that will be put up as well for people who are interested in wellness travel. A lot of times people they don't know what wellness travel is. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll have our website launched and ready to go.
And so what are some of the locations you have lined up? What are some of the experiences you're cooking up for us?
Yeah, so of course we have wine country in Southern California is Temecula area. And then we have domestic trips as well as international trips. So we just came back once again from Sedona, and we have vetted hotels up in Sedona area that are very secluded, very rooted in wellness and transformational healing, right? And then we have Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania in Africa. We're doing a lot of East Africa trips coming up as far as those announcements are concerned. And then, of course, we're looking at South America. We have just an awesome array of trips coming up that go from the end of the fall of this year to 2022. So for those who are still kind of, you know, filling the travel space back out of, I know, of course, the past couple of weeks we've had where in the news you hear about it, people are starting to travel again, travel is picking up. So for those who have still don't feel a little safe just yet with traveling, then we also have the 2022 programs that are coming out as well. So
And
yeah,
that's and that's so
yeah.
awesome. Now, are you going to be doing anything for documentation purposes? Like, are some of these experiences going to be set up as courses or instructions, or do you feel like they're going to be mostly all in? How would you take on that?
So I'm glad you asked that. One of the great things about um, the travel agency is we will be offering to two different types. So we're offering to wellness practitioners where we help them host their workshops. I know I have couple of people that are interested that are yoga instructors that are massage therapists. We just spoke with a yoga studio the other day about hosting their own group retreats. So we actually help you with the process, the traveling process of that. So that's one aspect of our offerings for particular wellness practitioners. But we also have a space for those that are wanting to go solo, right? They want a more customizable trip itinerary. And so that's what we'll be offering as well. So we have two different offerings. But, you know, just reach out to us and we can definitely go from there.
Love that. Yeah, we'll be putting all the useful information in the link below, and Instagram, the website. From there, you'll be able to find absolutely everything you could need to be plugged in and just staying up to date with these incredible announcements. They are no doubt going to grow so unbelievably fast just because I've had the incredible experience of it experiencing your energy in person. I know the healing nature of it. And therefore, I know the word of mouth is going to lead to rapid transformation. So I'm so stoked to witness it and help get this ball rolling, help roll it out to the world,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
I'll see some of the first couple trips you do. It's going to be so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Ty.
Yeah, of course. Do you have any, what are some of the first trips for later this year?
So this year we have, of course, Sedona. And then we have, we're working on South Africa as well. I meant to mention
Wow,
that.
that's
So
amazing.
we're working on wine country in South Africa, what is great with wellness and wine. But but we have Sedona, South Africa, and then of course, like I said, we're working on Zanzibar. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it is your spark. You know, I feel like your spark has been growing into an ember, and now it's a full-on raging inferno, and people are coming to stay warm at that raging inferno. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
feels nice.
Yeah, just I'm happy it's all unfolding the way it did. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to take a step back, and because this channel is really largely based on the individualized yoga experiences that people have had and what has led people to their current beliefs of yoga, what
Mhm.
does your practice look like? Do you have a current ongoing yoga practice?
Yeah, so I have a personal yoga studio I go to. Of course, I'm a yoga instructor. You know, I can do it myself, and sometimes I do at home, but sometimes it's just great to be in the company of others who are aligned with that same intention. So, one of the things I like to do is go into a yoga studio, and I have one that I go to maybe twice a week. And I do Kundalini there, I do sound bowl healing, and of course, Vinyasa Flow, that's my baby always. But yeah, so that's what I do. I have my yoga studio practice, and then I also have a practice at home. When every morning before I start my day, I make sure I get up early enough, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I do my meditation. I pray a little bit, and then set my intention for my day, drink my tea, and start my day. And it's always a nice, when you create a certain type of ritual in the mornings that are more grounded in intention, um, the day tends to be a little easygoing, right? And
Mm,
you set that trust to know that the universe will give you what you want. So yeah.
I love that. How have you experienced the shift in doing that meditation in the morning versus not doing it? Like, what has it brought into your life?
Yeah. So one of the things I tell a lot of people that are interested when they find out I'm a yoga instructor, they're like, well, where do I start? Where do I begin? And so one of the things is just making sure that when you are starting these meditation practices and yoga practices and just coming together, one of the things is being able to um, recognize that some days you're gonna do it and some days you're not, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Work from a place of loving kindness and compassion for yourself. And so one of the things that, I'm a yoga instructor and I'm a massage therapist. I'm very big in meditation, but I notice some days I wake up and I just don't go. Let's be honest. So, but make sure just to get back into it, right? And so those days that I don't get back into, those days where I miss my practice, um, it can be a little off center,
Mhm.
right? And I noticed that, and it's like, oh, I need to get back into my meditation at least, or at least taking 10 minutes for a little time to reflect and come back to center for myself. So it can be a little off center when those days haven't happened for me, and I see them in my practice. So yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, and it's so unbelievably important to mention what you did, and that's the kindness, the love, and the forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because I believe the stress that particular lifestyles, okay, let me take a step back. The stress that straying from certain particular lifestyles can bring you is more harmful than not doing it. And in a nutshell, that's kind of what you said, because just stay observant. And,
Yeah.
stress is not your friend. It doesn't matter in any
Right.
circumstance, stress will never, ever, ever be your friend.
That's so
It may
true.
teach you how to not stress, and that could be your friend. But
Right.
the teachings are, the stress is not. Um,
Right.
Nonetheless, it is important to recognize and reflect the fact that you can stray from some of your practices,
Of
and,
course.
and be loving with yourself in
Yeah.
that whole
And
process.
yeah, and it's so easy. It's free to get back into it, right? No one's, no one is holding their hand around your neck and saying, do you need to do this? And I think that's another part of just being true to who you are and saying, okay, yeah, and being honest, right, with your chapter, or being honest in that space, right?
Good
So
times.
one of the things that I look for is, you know, is making sure that when my practice has been off, to just say, you know what, Cherry, it's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. And really taking that moment to say, it's okay. Now let's get back into it. Right. So you have to be honest with yourself. A lot of times, I have students that they'll come, to class for a whole 6 months consistently. And then maybe a couple weeks that goes by and they don't come, and they come back and they're like, I feel so bad. I feel horrible. It's like, no, it's okay. Maybe you needed that time to kind of reflect on that and see how effective it is to have a practice, right?
Yes.
We have to be reminded of that our practice is there. It will always be there. No one's going to take it away from us. Like I said, it's free. I think about it as a free thing.
Yeah.
So even if you don't go into a yoga studio, like sitting down with yourself for a moment in your car, in the grocery store, in your office, wherever that is, and taking, a couple of minutes to say, it's okay. Let me just breathe, going back to breath. That's the free thing we have, right?
Yeah.
That we can use anytime at our disposal, and go from there. So yeah.
It is that. It is all that. You're so
Mhm.
on it. Well, it's amazing how I think we overlay so much of our beliefs and understandings with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what are some of the things that have helped you on your journey? Are there any things that stick out to you, certain teachings, practitioners, or literature, anything like that?
Yeah, on my wellness practitioner journey, I geek out to case studies. I love the science behind showing the work is effective, showing that breath work is effective, that yoga is effective, meditation is effective, how it affects our brains. And so I'm a big case study person. I love um, those types of things. So I read those types of things. I read case studies on how wellness affects our bodies, right? But I also have books that I love. One of the books is The Four Laws of Agreement, right? I love that book. Right now, I'm actually revisiting it, and it's so funny because every time I revisit it, it I see something different in it, and it helps me reapply, because it is so important to remember those principles, and it has got me through a lot of things, especially on the wellness practitioner journey. So that has definitely been a staple for me in my practice as well. And then there's another one that I read called Belong, and it's by Radha Agrawal. And it's basically the art of gathering, like gathering with intention. And that has been one of the things that, um, since I've read her book, it has helped me to learn how to gather in these spaces, right? And how to provide those spaces for other wellness practitioners. And so I love her book because it's so rooted in authenticity. So yeah, those are the three that really, case studies are my big one. I'm always geeking out, but those three are definitely on my radar right now.
I love that. I've never heard of case studies being something that, so I love that. Where can people go to find case studies? Is that a website, or how do you find them?
Yeah, so sometimes you can just look up the case study, type in the title, and they're public reign. And then sometimes, of course, they're paid, or you have a database of case studies. I believe one of the databases that has a great deal on mindfulness and breath work, meditation, those sort of things. I think it's called sciencedirect.com. But of course, you have to have a membership and everything. But though that's definitely a nice plethora of case studies on how the mind and body are affected by our breath, and how we are very in tune with a lot of things that we don't realize we're in tune with, right? With our potential. And that's what I love. It's potential with evidence. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I feel like someone in the listening audience heard that you're into case studies and just geeked out too, because they're like, oh, there's somebody else that loves case studies. And so
Yeah, I'm a big science nerd. I love it.
it's important to bridge, the metaphysical and the science world. And the more you observe, I'm sure you've experienced, there's a lot of overlap, right? There's a lot of things that one cannot explain by themselves, but the adaptation of considering both brings in transformational understanding.
Yeah.
And that's special that we live in a time and age where it can be considered and can be exposed in a way that's healthy for the people. So
Yeah.
cool. You're an advocate for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Well, as we get to the end of all the interviews, I like to just ask the guest, you in this beautiful moment, what are some things that may be coming through you? Somebody's listening right now and you feel like they need to hear.
We are in a transformational time, and we are giving, I call it, we're kind of at the terminus, right? Where there's an ending to a chapter and a beginning to a chapter. And I believe this is the time of our awakening, where we're giving another opportunity to get it right within ourselves and within Mother Earth, right? One of the things that I love about this time is that people are starting to wake up. They're starting to become woke, right? And that's so beautiful to see, especially me being a wellness practitioner for so long. It's so exciting to see that now there are people that more than ever want to come aboard and really tap back into who they are, truly are. It's so cool to watch, all the movies that are happening around tuning back into us, tapping out and tuning back into ourselves so that we can be the greatest version of ourselves. And so that's one of the things I would say. This is the opportunity. There are so many spaces that you can come, and we welcome you as wellness practitioners to give you a deep dive and help you deep dive into who you are. And so we're in a transformational time. Don't be shy. Come reach out to us, and we can definitely go from there as having any type of contact with each other as far as where should you go in this space of learning, what tools are useful for who you are and how you want to realign with everything that you desire. So yeah, that's one of the things I would say. Don't be shy about going into a yoga class. Don't be shy just going into a meditation class. Everyone is learning. I'm still learning. I still read tons of case studies on things every day. So yeah, just making sure that if you desire to go into that type of space, we are here for you, and we are those people that will guide you on a journey of transformation. So, yeah.
It's so beautiful. Everyone had that first yoga class experience.
Yeah.
Everybody had that first sit down meditation. So
Yeah.
starting is the most important thing. And you, my friend, are starting a travel wellness revolution. I can feel it in the depth of my being.
Thank you. Thank you. I receive right now. Thank you.
Which is great. To all my travel yogis out there, hit her up, save her website, reach out to her. She's there for you. She always will be. But Cherrie, it's been an absolute honor today having you and talking with you. The
Thank you
last
so much.
50 minutes flew by, but it was packed with such goodness. So now the world gets to hear it all.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and Satnam to everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Really hope you enjoyed that talk. It was beautiful to have that experience with that shared guest. We have a lot of very useful information in the description section below, so be sure to check it out. I've also linked any and all videos with that individual in the description below, so check those out as well. It's an honor to bring this footage to you, and I hope you can come back and continue to deepen your practice. Namaste.